Welcome to Theology Savage. We're in the book of Psalms today, Psalm 39, and the psalmist is overwhelmed. He's trying to keep his mouth shut. He's going through a very difficult time here in life. He says his heart is hot within him. As I muse, the fire burned. And then he speaks with his tongue, and he speaks about how brief his life is. And I think that's important for us to hear this, especially with the way that he concludes. He says, "O Lord, make me know my end, and what is the measure of my days? Let me know how fleeting I am." The reality is, I think the psalmist is beginning to realize how fleeting he is. He's thought he's had it all together, and this suffering, this tribulation, this trial comes to him. And the fact that he's praying this, he's coming to terms with the reality of that. Because in the next verse, he says, "Behold, you have made my days a few handbreadths, and my lifetime is nothing before you. Surely all mankind are as a mere breath. Surely man goes out as a shadow. Surely for nothing they're in turmoil. A man heaps up wealth and does not know who will gather." So in other words, the psalmist's life had been going probably really well, and all of a sudden he's facing this great turmoil. His heart's welling up within him, and he can't keep silent. He finally speaks, and he's become soberly aware that his days are numbered, and that his days are rather difficult. He wants to know the end, and yet he realizes his life is but a few handbreadths, and life is a vapor, we read elsewhere in the scriptures. And so what's my word to you? Enjoy each day. Live for the glory of God. We're told to redeem the time, for the days are evil. And enjoy each day. Enjoy God's creative gifts. Enjoy communion with God. Enjoy the ways he provides and the ways that he fails to provide. See, even his ultimate goodness behind all that as he works his inscrutable will, which is for your eternal good. And I think the most applicable part of this psalm is to look at the very end of it, because look what he says. He says, "Hear my prayer, O Lord, and give ear to my cry. Hold not your peace at my tears." You see, he's crying. He's so overwhelmed that he's been crying. "For I am a sojourner with you, like a guest with all my fathers." He sees his life as like a pilgrim journey throughout earth. That this earth isn't his ultimate resting place. It's not his ultimate home. And that he's kind of passing through, but he's not alone. "I am a sojourner with you." He sees that God is with him through the good and the great things, to the very difficult things. He doesn't just say, "I'm a sojourner." He says, "I'm a sojourner with you." He knows God is at his right hand. In fact, he's praying to God, communing with God, drawing near to God. We must do that all of our days. But then notice this part. That's the most intriguing part, at least to me, is he says, "Look away from me, that I may smile again before I depart and am no more." God is too close for comfort. The psalmist sees God as looking toward him, testing him in a very severe way. He doesn't see it like we can when we go through trials as God's, "Oh, he's way far off. He doesn't care. He's forgotten about me." He says, "Look away from me." In other words, God's a little too close for comfort as he tests and tries the psalmist. And so through your trials, I'd say keep in mind these three things. God is going to be good in his purpose. He's always good in his purpose. And his purpose isn't necessarily immediate, it's ultimate. You see, the psalmist had to go through all of this, even to number his days and get a proper perspective on his life, upon God's blessings. God is good, ultimately, in his purposes. Even the evils and the challenges that you face, the tribulations, the great trials, the heartache, God is working much, much greater goods, ultimately, through those things. God is also sovereign in his providence. There's nothing that comes to you in all your days that is outside the hand of God. And related to those two, God is inscrutable in his ways. His ways, Paul says, are past finding out. We get glimpses, we have a lot of revelation in the scriptures, but so often God's ways are very mysterious to us. The ways he visits us with these Psalm 39 situations, even his goodness, all these things are very inscrutable at times, and yet we know God is ultimately good and faithful. We see that in the gospel, and yet sometimes he's a little too close for comfort, and that should cause us to be sober-minded about our days and to live for God's glory through thick and thin, even if it's crying out to God in anguish and prayer, knowing that he hears us and that he is with us on our sojourn way. Be blessed.